Hi everyone, it's Nicole from Healthy NYC. Welcome. Today we're going to be practicing a really great flow to increase flexibility in the hips. I won't be using any props for this practice, but it's always a good idea to have two blocks and a strap close by. So let's start down on our backs and recline down angle. Soles of the feet together. Relax your shoulders down your back. You can place your hands alongside of the body or up over your head. Taking some deep breaths into the hip flexors. Trying to relax fully into the mat. Let's take 3 more breaths here. And bring the knees back in, straighten out the left leg, right knee in towards your chest, holding on to the front of the shin or the back of the thigh. If this is uncomfortable for any reason, you can bend your left leg and place the sole of your foot down on the mat. Just go ahead and move your hip from side to side, getting some mobility going. Trying to relax the upper body. And if your left leg was straight, go ahead and bend it. Place the sole of your foot down on the mat. We're moving into half happy baby. Grabbing onto the big toe. On your right foot, left arm is out to the side. You can use your elbow to gently pressure leg open a little bit further. Trying to stay balanced on both hips so you're not rolling too far over to the right. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And gently let that go. Let's switch sides. So left knee in towards your chest. You can circle out the ankle, flex through the foot, whatever feels good here. If your right leg was straight, go ahead and bend that knee, sole of the foot on the mat. Grab onto the big toe on the left foot. Right arm is out to the side for a half happy baby. Breathing deeply into the left hip. Making sure your tailbone is pressing down into the mat. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Gently let that go. Bring both knees into your chest. Give them a little squeeze. Maybe rock from side to side. And let's come up into tabletop pose. So your knees will be underneath your hips. Your wrists are under your shoulders. Fingers are spreading nice and wide. Let's move through a few rounds of cat and cow. On an inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, curl tailbone up. Exhale, around the spine, chin to chest. Just take a few more at your own pace. Warming up through the back, the shoulders. Keeping the elbows straight. Let's take one more full round. And coming back to a neutral spine, we're going to take puppy pose. So keep your knees as they are, under your hips. Crawl your hands forward, arms are nice and straight, your forehead is down on the mat. The lower belly is hugging in and you're pressing your chest down. Breathing deeply into the upper back and the shoulders. And let's lift up, walk the palms back in. We're moving into our first downward dog. Curl the toes under, hips are going up and back. Your feet and your hands are at hip width distance apart. Fingers are spreading nice and wide, elbows are straight. Your lower belly is hugging in and you can relax your head and neck. Take any movement here that feels good in the body. Try to settle into the pose. On an inhale, lift the right leg up to the sky, bend your knee, open up your hip. Both shoulders are pressing down. Straighten the right leg and let's carefully step it through to our low lunge. Your back knee comes down, your ankle and knee are aligned on the right, you're lifting up out of your lower back, pressing the hips forward and down, looking wherever is comfortable for your neck and wherever helps you hold your balance. Getting a beautiful stretch in the left hip flexor. Let's circle the arms wide, fingertips down on the mat. Straighten the right leg for our half splits. You can bend your knee if your hamstrings are tight. Both hip bones are facing forward. Your right foot is flexed and you can relax your upper body. Let's crawl the fingers forward. We're moving into a low lunge quad stretch. So left hand is down on the mat. Inhale your right arm up and back. You can stay in your twist. If the reach is available, grab onto your left foot. You can always use your strap here. Pressing the hips forward and down. Let's gently let the left foot go. Lift your back knee. We're pivoting over to the left side of our mat. And press into both feet to come all the way up to stand, moving into goddess pose, heels in, toes out. You can keep your hands on your waist here. We're just getting a nice moving stretch in the hips. Your tailbone is neutral, so you're not tilting too far forward or back. Take 2 more breaths here. Come up to stand. Both feet will be parallel to the short sides of the mat. We're moving into a wide-legged forward fold. Inhale to lift the heart. Exhale, hinging from the waist. You can place your hands down on the mat or on your blocks. Feel free to adjust your stance. Just let your head and neck be heavy here. You can sway from side to side. The shoulders are away from your ears. Let's take 1 more breath here. Crawl the fingers forward. Let's pivot to the front of our mat to move into our first flow. Both hands down. Inhale to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. You can take cobra or up dog. And exhale back into downward dog. Let's take 3 breaths here. Making sure to spread the fingers nice and wide, pressing into the fingertips and knuckles to take the weight out of your wrists. When you're ready, left leg rises. Bend your knee, open up your hip. Straighten that left leg, and let's carefully step through to our low lunge. Back knees down, lifting up out of the lower back. Breathing deeply into the right hip and right hip flexors. Let's circle the arms wide, move into our hamstring stretch on the left side. Take your version of the pose, knees either straight or bent. Relaxing the upper body, making this about the hamstrings. Let's crawl the fingers forward, moving into our low lunge quad stretch with a twist. So inhale the left arm up and back, stay in your twist or grab on to your right foot. You can use your hand or your strap here if the reach is too far. Pressing the hips forward and down, opening up the left shoulder. Let's gently let that go, lift the back knee, pivot over to the right side of your mat. Press into both feet, come all the way up to stand, hands on your hips, moving into goddess pose. Neutral spine, just getting a nice moving stretch, warming up through the hips. Come back to center, press up to stand. Both feet are parallel to the short sides, moving into our wide-legged forward folds, hinging from the waist, hands down on the mat or on your blocks. Relax the upper body. Let's crawl the fingers forward, pivot towards the front of the mat. We're moving into our flow. Both hands down. Inhale to plank. Exhale, chaturanga, cobra or up dog. Exhale back into your downward dog. When you're ready, right leg rises. Keep it straight and square, stepping it through to warrior two. Your back foot is pivoted to the short end of the mat, parallel. We're having a nice generous bend in the front knee. Both arms are out, nice and strong. Really pressing that hip out, using your glutes. Your torso is neutral. Pressing into the back foot. Let's reverse. Getting a beautiful stretch of the side body. Coming back through to warrior two. Clasp your hands behind your back. Inhale to lift the heart and exhale into humble warrior. Keeping a bend in the front knee. Trying to relax your head and neck. Take 2 more breaths here. Press into both feet to come all the way back up. Warrior two, straighten the front leg, and let's move into our triangle pose. Hips are going forward and down. You can place your hand against your shin on a block or down on the mat. Really opening up from that left shoulder, look wherever's comfortable for your neck. Take one more breath here. Let's look down towards the mat, bend into the front knee, pivot your foot over, your right foot over to the edge of the mat, and let's just take lizard pose here. So both hands are on the inside of the right foot, and just sway front to back here. You can stay up on your hands or go down on your forearms. Trying to keep your shoulders down. One more breath here, and let's move through our flow. Both hands down. Inhale to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Take your back bend. And let's meet in downward dog. When you're ready, left leg rises. Keep it straight and square, stepping it through to warrior two on the left. Back foot is pivoting towards the short end of the mat. Generous bend in the front knee. Both arms are out, nice and strong. Pressing that hip open on the left side. Let's reverse. Coming back to warrior two. Let's clasp our hands behind our backs, other thumb on top. Inhale to lift the heart, and exhale, humble warrior. Relax your head and neck. Take two more breaths here. Press into both feet to come back up from warrior two. Straighten the front leg, and let's move into triangle pose. Feel free to adjust your back foot if the stance is too wide. Opening up through the right shoulder, spinning your heart up to the sky. Take two more breaths here. Let's look down towards the mat, bend into the front knee. Go ahead and pivot your foot over to the left side of the mat. Both hands are on the inside, moving into lizard pose. Again, you can stay on your palms or go down to your forearms, whatever works for your body today. Swaying back and forth, really pressing into the toe on your left foot, your big toe. And let's move through our flow. Inhale to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Take cobra or up dog. And let's exhale back into downward dog. When you're ready, bend your knees, lift your heels, make your way to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. And hands at heart center. We're going to move into tree pose, balancing on the right leg. So lift your left knee up using your hip flexors. You can place your foot either on the inside top of the right leg or down towards your shin. Everything is moving through the midline. Once you catch your balance, you can lift your arms up. Try not to dig your toes into the mat. Take two more breaths here. Hands back to heart center, moving into standing pigeon pose. So your left ankle is crossing over your right knee. Your hips are going back, flexing into the left foot. Chest is up. Hugging the lower belly to support the pose. Take one more breath here. Let's come back to stand and move through our flow. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, folding forward, hinging at the waist. Halfway lift, flat back. You can step or hop into chaturanga. Take your back bend. And let's meet in downward dog. Go ahead and bend your knees, lift your heels, and make your way to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Hands at heart center, moving into tree pose on the left leg. So right knee comes up. Take your version of the pose. And you could take your hand position of choice, either at heart center or lifting your arms up to the sky. Really pressing everything in towards the midline. Take one more breath here. Hands come back to heart center, moving into standing pigeon pose. So your right ankle is crossing over your left knee, flexing into your foot. Hips are going back, chest is lifted. Look at something that's not moving to hold your balance. 2 more breaths here. Let's come back up to stand and move through our flow. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, folding forward, hinging at the waist. Halfway lift, flat back. Plant your palms. Let's move through chaturanga. Take your back bend and exhale, downward dog. Let's take 3 breaths here, really stretching it out. And make your way to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. And we're going to be moving into Malasana. So your heels are in, your toes are out. Take an inhale, and then let's exhale down into the squat. You can use your elbows to gently press your knees open a bit further. Nice straight back. Go ahead and close your eyes here. Relaxing into the stretch. Malasana is a really beautiful hip opener. And if this is uncomfortable, you can always sit down on a block as well. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And carefully come down to a seated position for head to knee. So your right leg is stretched out, your left foot is up against your inner upper thigh. Inhale to lift the heart and exhale forward, hinging at the waist. Grab onto whatever's accessible. Relax your upper body. Two more breaths here. Let's come all the way back up and switch sides. Inhale the arms up and exhale, hinging at the waist. You can make this passive since we're closing our practice. 2 more breaths. Let's come all the way back up and lie down on our backs. We're going to be moving into shoelace pose. So cross the right leg over the left. Your knees should be stacked, flexing into both feet, and you could gently pull your hips towards your lower belly. And a nice stretch and release in the hips. And let's switch sides. Left leg crosses over the right, knees are stacked. Try to relax your upper body. Taking deep breaths into the hips. Let's gently let that go. We'll move into a spinal twist. So move your hips over to the left side of your mat. Knees are dropping down to the right. Left arm is out to the side. Your collarbones are facing up. And you can either look towards the sky or towards your left hand if you'd like a stretch in your neck. Taking deep breaths into your lower back. Let's come back to center and switch sides. Your knees are dropping to the left, right arm is out. Collarbones are facing up. Relaxing your upper body. Let's come back to center and take one more pose before we move into Savasana. Bring your knees in towards your chest. You can either stay here or move into happy baby by grabbing onto the outside edges of both feet or your 2 big toes. Elbows are on the inside. Tailbone is pressing into the mat. Your ankles and knees are roughly stacked. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Gently let that go, and let's move into Shavasana. Legs are outstretched on the mat. Take up lots of space. Shoulders are down the back, palms facing up to the sky. And just use this opportunity to fully relax into the mat and integrate all the work we've done in our practice today. Start to bring some movement back into the body. Wiggling the fingers and toes, turning the head from side to side. Let's take a morning stretch, arms over the head, toes are pointed. And gently roll over to one side, keeping your eyes closed. Press up to a comfortable seated position, focusing inward. Hands at heart center. Let's take one more breath to close our practice. Inhale through the nose and exhale out the mouth. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you enjoyed this flow. Please remember to like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you again soon. Namaste.